Welcome back to What's Wrong With It. Today we're here to talk about what's wrong with Charlamagne the God and the Breakfast Club in general. Now I'm not going to front. They all mad funny at times. I mean, just looking at Charlamagne cracks me up. And sometimes I even learn a thing or two listening to the show. But there's a bit of hypocrisy going on. I don't know for a fact, but I guess Charlamagne's justification for being hypocritical is you can damn near say anything to black people as long as you follow it up with a dope beat. This is deep, so you have to listen carefully. Charlamagne does this thing called Donkey of the Day. Now, most of his donkeys of the day are straight up donkeys. Charlamagne does a good job of picking them out. You know what they say, real recognizes real. I guess donkeys recognize donkeys. Charlamagne goes on to preach why his donkeys are donkeys. It's usually some moral or social depravity. In other words, something they did was foul or stupid or both. So in other words, he's making moral judgment. Now Charlamagne, don't that book you be reading sometimes and quoting from say judge not or so you shall be judged? Now I'm the ultimate person to judge you, Charlamagne, because I'm man enough to admit I don't believe in no book and I make up my rules as I go along. But I digress. Back to your donkey of the day. For the most part, I usually agree with your moral judgments. On face value, there's nothing wrong with them. It's when you go deeper, you see that there's a problem. Charlamagne, you often say you're black and highly favored. I guess that's a shout out to the man up above you. And he deserves it. I mean, after all, he does sign your paycheck. And if you make him too mad, he might fire you. Charlamagne, you're only black and favored as long as you don't upset the white favor granters. Now this is where Charlamagne and his diehard fans will say something in his defense, like he shouts out racism all the time. I've been in a fire, and I can tell you from personal experience, shouting out fire will not put it out. It's a warning and an alert. Yes, the shout out can save lives. But at some point, some other actions need to take place. There are people who will keep shouting out warnings in order to distract you from finding adequate solutions. If racism ended today, how exactly would that help black people? Would all the people in the project suddenly become homeowners with equity? Now, Breakfast Club defenders would probably say something like DJ Envy's real estate seminars address that issue. In 99.6% of U.S. counties, a full-time minimum wage worker can't afford a one-bedroom apartment on average. No seminar is going to fix that problem. Besides, do you think DJ Envy wants my niece Lakeisha and her 6 kids living next door to him and his family? I don't want her living next door to me. Knocking on your door always wanting to borrow stuff. And you can best believe the guy that signs the Breakfast Club's paychecks definitely don't want Lakeisha living next door to him either. Now what if Lakeisha's kids were well behaved and didn't write on walls? Do you think that would change Charlamagne's boss's mind? Probably not. His not wanting to be around you is not totally based on race. A large part of it is attitude. Now Lakeisha has 2 neighbors on her floor. One plays gospel music on Sunday. The other plays 2 Chainz and Kodak Black all night long. Which one you think just pissed in the damn elevator? Members of the Breakfast Club, y'all say you're doing it for the culture, but whose culture is getting richer and whose culture is getting poorer? African Americans are more dependent on government handouts, bailouts, and subsidies than ever before. Charlamagne seemed real mad that money went to Ukraine and not the black community. Instead of getting mad because we're not getting handouts, we should be mad and demanding equal opportunities so we don't need handouts. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't take handouts if they're giving them. If Charlamagne's boss gave me enough money, I'd go somewhere right now and shut up. But there's a difference between selling out and being quiet and selling out and misleading the people. When you're misleading people, you have to look them in the face. Don't your conscience kind of bother you? How we get our money matters. This reminds me of something I seen back in the day. I remember these kids with squeegee and car windshields as they was coming off the Cross Bronx Expressway. So this lady, she calls one of the kids over to her car. She's like, come here, come here. So the kid goes running to the car. And the lady, when the kid gets close to the car, she throws with all her might about $5 and change, which was a lot of money back then, but she throws about like $5 and change at this kid, at his face. So the kid is like, he got to cover up his face to keep him getting hit with quarters and dimes and whatnot. You know, he got paid, but it was humiliating. Charlamagne, you both said it yourself. It's about others laughing at you or with you. Now, I'm not going to be the moral police and tell you what's right or wrong. At the end of the day, that's something you got to figure out for yourself. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.